Welcome to Sophia's Emporium. Here we have a spicy little book from the 33-degree Freemasons called Dynamic Freedoms. This book is very, very important because in the end, while people are talking about the Democratic Socialist Party, it's really no more than the whole thing about socialism and communism. And they had a big meeting here in St. Louis in 1917 where they made all their little plans. But this is the book. And this was my great uncle Charles Bauer. He was an admiral in the Navy during World War II. I call him Uncle Charlie, but he was my grandmother's sister's husband. There we go. Trying to get that so you can see it all in best detail. There's the Liberty Bong. No, I mean bell. Just kidding. That's a joke from a movie. Welcome, Anna. This is called Dynamic Freedoms. It's a book in my library. It was my great uncle Charles Bauer's. I don't know if you know it, but they say they invented freedom. It's just a screwball concept. General powers of the Congress. All about war and calling out the militia. Army, Navy. More. District of Columbia is so important. Prohibited before 1808. I'll be coming back and reading this. This is just so people can see the book right now. Trying to get extra stuff off my computer. It's completely full. I can't even use my Zoom Room app. But I thought it was really important that people have this information. Books are a big deal these days. Here's all the portraits of the presidents coming up. Oh, maybe not. It's not in order. I'll have to go back. Maybe. So few people are really interested in this stuff. But I can always improve on my work. Bill of Rights. Wahaha. It's all made up, words on paper. And then to twist them on people, how sad. We'll have our chance. It's already happening. Just keep the faith. Well, sure, the District of Columbia sues. That's Washington, D.C. Not even part of the United States. But right here in the United States. How do you do that? And what about the Glasscock Land Patent Act of 1643? Anybody want to talk about that yet? And of course, the Glasscock were kin to George Washington. A lot of good it did Dr. George Glasscock. He wound up murdered still. Oh, but we'll get to what really happened. Excerpts from Washington's farewell address. Government presupposes the duty of every individual to obey. Government's supposed to obey their own laws, too. My dad would have said people in hell want ice water. Now, I do have a few specific chapters and excerpts already on YouTube from this very book, Dynamic Freedoms. These are slideshows from the files. Look at that big octopus sitting on the earth. Know your communist enemy. Right. And there's J. Edgar Hoover, one of the most dirty rottens going. How communism began, they tell you that story. Democratic Provisional Government. The death of the Provisional Government. That was quick. What communism stands for. You can see I did a lot of underlining there. And here, brackets. I always mark my books. Relics of communist savagery. We're at 1952. What communism stands for. Treachery. Oh. I see. Communist offensive. They knew. And so, see, that's why it was so easy to work the program here. How communism conquers. Step 1. Step 2. Look at all the underlining I did. 1966 report. Okay, step 3. Student riots are important. Step 4 is infiltration. Step 5 is demoralization. Here's a nice map. Step 6 is intimidation. Step 7 is gain the confidence of the people. Step 8 is subversion. Step 9 is the end. And then you have the takeover. Shoot all the leaders of the conquered country. No, wait. Step 6. Take back anything given to the people in step 1. Ugh. Another nice picture. Kind of looks like the ghettos around this whole world. How is freedom to be defended against this enemy of the individual? You know. Okay. Medium-range ballistic missile in Cuba. Ownership of property. Let's talk about the Land Patent Act of 1643. Soviet missiles en route to Cuba. Courtesy of the U.S. Air Force, the picture. Love that. I'm only one, but it's still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do what I can. You can help combat communism, information democracy, and alertness. Separation of Church and State, edited by Robert B. Watts, 33 Degree, General Chapter. That's a Scottish Rite. Hey, look, keep them separated. Nice poster. There's your foreword, and it says, stand up and speak out. And there's the Sovereign Grand Commander's signature. Pound home the lessons of history. Guidelines for church-state relations. You got the amendments. You got some quotes from some dudes. Supreme Court, Emerson versus the Board of Education. I wonder if that's how Emerson got to be a Fortune 500 company. I mean, I don't know, I'm just speaking. I'm not used to doing a show without talking. Public laws, does he have to bring all that with him? Federal aid to public schools. And there's the history of church-state relations, the American arrangement, a glance at the past, revolutions of mankind. Profound changes. Oh. How church-state separation came about, architects of separation. And this is Susie. Here we're at King James I. Church-state separation came about, architects of separation. The shape of church-state separation. What was the secret of avoiding this strife of state against church and church against state? What separation meant? Congress shall make no law, you know, dictating over that. The colonial establishments and what separation meant. The bill for establishing religious freedoms. Talking about school and your education there in the last 3 pages. Welfare aid to churches, state control, freedom, voluntarism, beware of the nice we do. Separation and religion-friendly separation. Friendly versus hostile, sure. They bring up USSR. What that meant, bottom line, was they were supposed to do donations and, not tips, but, you know, because you want to do it, not because you have to. As far as giving them all your money. Church-state problems, shared time, the difference between public and parochial school, church and state in the courts, no establishment, and free exercise. Drugs and free exercise, Sunday law, decided in 63. Sherbert versus Werner. What is a church? The Supreme Court on religion in the schools. The subsidy issue. The problem of lack of understanding, or lack of standing. The Waltz case. In the courts in late 1969. Sectarian infiltration in the American public school, the subversive. The challenge to church-state separation, basic premises. Challenge to separation. Free enterprise, an American invention by Harold M. Fleming. There's George Washington by Horatio Greenough, 1840. You can find that at the Smithsonian. This is from 1970, the Supreme Council, 33rd degree. You know there's degrees above that, by the way. And there's our forward again. Invention of freedom as a general good in itself, on which this country was founded. Hey, wait. No. You come back just a little bit. I would really like to go back to that, but I don't know how to move backwards in this, so I will come back and do a full reading. We must be free to invent. They bring up the Magna Carta of 1215 AD. The immemorial rights of Englishmen. Hey, I'm an Englishman, Scotsman, from, the clans. New Order of the Ages. Adventure, one growth industry after another. Inventors in odd corners. Adventure, no title of nobility should be granted by the United States. Oh, except for a few rich guys? The Glasscocks had one. Progress inevitably outmodes the latest thing. Adventure. So they just, blacklisted the Glasscocks. Progress inevitably outmodes the latest thing. I call bullshit. DuPont gets to stay, but Glasscocks get killed? Mass production for the masses. Old man DuPont just retired. I saw that on the U.S. National Archives. How to keep making money. Mass production for the masses. How to keep making money. Bah humbug. Scrooge. I'm talking about sweatshops, social mindedness, competition, free market. Hey, we don't have one of those. Oh, that's right. You planned to take it away back then. Horse and buggy competition. Gone. The Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890, free competition, prohibited conspiracies from restraining trade. American business tries monopoly. Yeah. Monopolies don't have to come down to exactly just one, but that's what they used as a loophole. Sure as shit. And then, of course, the many fold into the one. Oh, we know how you do it. Competition in new dimensions. Between industries, research and development, discretionary income and non-price competition, restraints in trade. More about competition. The NRA was thrown out by the Supreme Court in 35. Obsolescence, Part 1. Job displacement, least talked about. Quote by Oliver Wendell Holmes. Have you heard of the wonderful one-horse shay that was built in such a logical way it ran 100 years to a day? Stop the machines. Early atom smasher in the Smithsonian. New jobs, where and when? Yeah, there are none. You already know that. Part 2, vanishing values, investors beware. Gerald Celente knew all about that. Value of man's property be invisibly drained away from him by the progress of the industrial arts. Caution incorporated cash reserves, other financial precautions, conservative accounting, depreciation versus obsolescence. Management in an era of progress and obsolescence. All about Alice in Wonderland, no wonder. The principle is sharing the wealth. Oh, you do it voluntarily. New products create new opportunities. That's the 747 there. Built here in St. Louis, Missouri. Boeing. What pulls up wages? It's a magic formula for productivity. The iron law of wages. The unhappy theory of capitalism. The natural brakes on wage improvement. Talking about the modern laborer. Prophets. And then they get into the Bible. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, Moses said in Deuteronomy. One thing's fairly sure. We're screwed. Oh, I'm sorry. Prophets. That's a crystal of ours. Isn't that beautiful? The biggest backyard country. Russia. Opportunity. Oh, they're calling them the biggest backward country, not backyard. Backward. What a pain in the ass we are. But, oh wait, you guys are in on it together. That's right. It's good cop, bad cop. I should have remembered. Deadweight controls, modern federalism, how governments spread, plural. Opportunity and future. Faster, it says. And there's the man. Man's innate tendency to dream, to innovate, and to excel is in his achievements. You know how everybody's tripped out on the moon story now. But we move on. It's nothing to get twisted over. And that's a Vogel, original Vogel cut healing crystal. The flag of the United States of America with a beautiful crystal. Crystal ball. Look at that, behind that, red, white, and blue. That's cool, isn't it? Love that shot. And that's the cover of the book. Our freedom documents, communism, enemy of all freedoms, separation of church and state. And of course, remember, freedom's an invention until we change it. That was my friend that just called on the phone. My apologies. Look at that word free behind that crystal. I mean, you gotta love the art to it. A lot of people want to start wars about crystals these days. They don't realize they power their phones and their little technology. State-of-the-art crystal chips. Yeah, they mine the earth for them too. You wouldn't believe the things they blow up to get to them. Washington's Masonic apron. The true-born sons of liberty. Nice picture. Look at that big bunch of Freemasons. Wow, in a cave. And there's the initiation where they go through the death. And they say, if you narc us out, we'll lay you to rest. And they say, okay, we won't. I've had this book since Oh, easily 2005, because that's when the Hair Emporium sticker's from. And that's the greatest bell in the world, the Liberty Bell. Thomas Jefferson. You know all about him. This shrine containing the Declaration of Independence of the Constitution of the United States. And of course, there's our presidents in what do you call that, X-ray? Kind of interesting. There's James Madison. General Washington at prayer. And that octopus again. From earlier. Just won't leave us alone. And that is the communism offensive. You can see Russia 1917, North Caucasia 1920, Idel, Ural 1920, Cossack guy, yeah, 1920, Zebron 1920, Armenia 1920, Byelorussia 1920, Soviet Georgia 1921, Far East Republic 1922, Turkestan 1922, the Ukraine 1922, Poland 1939, Lithuania 1940, Latvia 1940, Estonia 1940, Albania 1944, East Germany 1945, China 1945 to 1949, Yugoslavia 1946, Czechoslovakia 1948, Romania 1948, Bulgaria 1948, Hungary 1949, Tibet 1951, North Korea 1953, North Vietnam 1954, and Cuba 1959. Hey, guess what? It happened to us too, and it's 2018. So, for now, I'm going to tell you peace, love, and light from the third cosmic ray. And this is Sophia's Emporium again, saying peace be with you.